So, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nobody Asked podcast, episode 4. Right?
4.
Technically 5, but the last one didn't release. But yeah, episode 4. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I saw a new subscriber today, which was cool.
Yeah, woohoo! Shout out to you.
Shout out to you. I forgot
Let's
your
go.
name. Sorry, I forgot your name. But yeah,
Wait.
thank you for that.
So we're how many?
I actually don't know.
Running the stats up.
Running
We'll
the
put them here somewhere.
Yeah, I actually don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching and subscribing. Yeah, continue to show your support. Before we get in today's episode, please read and or listen to the disclaimer.
Some topics may be triggering, and we are not trained professionals, and simply are sharing our personal experiences. If you go through or have gone through mental health problems, please seek professional help. However, we are more than willing to pray with you and or for you. God bless and enjoy.
Whew. Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back. What's up, bro?
Kia ora.
Bro, today's been one of those days. I almost gave 3 people a hiding today.
Was it?
People testing me, bro. No, you know why? And they all done the same thing. 3 people pulled out right in front of me. Yeah, 3 times. 3 different people.
I don't like that. Especially when they see you and they do it anyway. Did you have one of those?
The last one was this. What company was it? The Posty people, but it's not called Posty. It's something.
Courier
Red-
Post.
Yes,
Courier Post.
Courier Post. And those big like SUV things, van looking
Oh
things.
yeah.
I just hit the green light. I'm going straight. I'm going straight. She does this, looks at me. I look at her, look at me, looking at her, looking at me. And then she goes and just pulls off. She's like here. I'm like here. I'm like, honestly, maybe like 3 meters away from her. And then she just does a full U-turn and just cuts me off, eh? But then she gets hit with the red light and I get hit with traffic. And so I stopped and we stopped right next to each other. And then Jada was already just like trying to calm me down at this point because this is the 3rd person that cut me off.
Do you do like the stern looks when you're driving past, bro?
Nah, it depends. Nah, actually, it goes to violence pretty quick. But it is bad. But I put the window down and I was like, hey! And then she's like just sitting there like ignoring me and I was like, hey! And then she looked at me and then I called her a name that was bad. Yeah.
Love yous. Love you guys.
And then I went out. But today was just one of those days, bro. People just testing me on like emails and stuff. People testing me. Far out.
I gotta ask though, did you eat?
Did I eat it before? There's people pulled out of me. Nah, I did not eat. So they got the brunt of just like.
If you guys don't know, this guy is he's a good friend, but I have another good friend who we know as Hungry Cows.
Hungry
And
cows.
Hungry Cows is the culmination of all those bad thoughts and feelings. It's like if your intrusive thoughts win, that's
Yeah.
Hungry Cows. So we always have to make sure,
Yeah.
whenever we're doing anything that cows is fed because
It was bad, man.
Mm.
They got hungry cows, alright. Far out. Yeah. It was so bad. That was my day today. For some reason, though, I decided to fight through it all. Like, normally I'm just like revert, isolate myself for a bit, relax, and then just like, and then I guess ignore it and then get on with my day. But for some reason today, I decided to fight through it for whatever reason. And I don't know if it's like yielded any, like, if it's any better than what I normally do, but.
How do you feel though? Do you feel like all good now or?
Yeah, like so this email, a work email from someone external was pissing me off, man. Just completely didn't read the questions that I was asking and then like had a little go at me as well, like expressing their frustration. And I was just like, well, if you read the previous like 5 emails, then yeah. So there was that, and then I had a chance to calm down, and now I just want to like rectify everyone that I like hurt today. I want to go track down the post lady and be like, I'm sorry for calling you
So sorry, sis. I didn't mean
a
to.
fat bee. I called her a fat bee. Yeah, bro. That was hearty and loud. Yeah.
Just for context, our last episode was about
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's difficult, bro?
Yeah, and like, I definitely need to learn how to regulate my emotions in real time, or just come up with a plan that be like, okay, when this happens, road rage seems to be like the
key.
one, yeah, the one that sets me off really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to come up with a plan, 'cause man, also riding a bike a lot lately, it makes you hyper aware of like cars and how cars drive, 'cause I have to, 'cause I'm so vulnerable on a bike. So many people just don't know how to drive, eh?
Or don't care enough.
Don't care at all, like about rules, about indicating, about just like the littlest things that can like really put my life and others in danger.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, especially here in Auckland,
Yeah,
infamous for bad drivers. Yeah.
it's so bad, man. Yeah. So, anyways, that was my date. Anyways, sorry guys, I digress. Today's episode, we're talking about loss. Oh, this is gonna cheer me up, isn't it? We're talking about loss.
Yeah.
This is a heavy ass subject. We're gonna dive into a few things today about loss, mainly around death and different forms of it. So again, if you haven't read or listened to the disclaimer, please go back and have a read or listen to that, 'cause it's about to get really heavy. And again, seek some professional help. We'll try our best to put some links to some sources that can help you guys, because yeah, what we're about to share today is going to be pretty heavy. So just another little disclaimer. So when we speak about loss and we speak about death, bro, like I've always been afraid of death, and I've always like of me dying. I've been afraid of me dying.
Yeah.
I've always been comfortable with death and with other people passing away, just because of our culture, you know, where we come from. Yeah, like tangihangas and just the whole process of that, or funeral, and Te Ao Māori, for those who aren't from New Zealand or Aotearoa know, in Te Ao Māori we have a tangi or a tangihanga, which is the process of a tangi. Different regions have different protocols and stuff like that, but normally lasts a few days, and the tupapaku, or the deceased body, would be in the whare of the whakatakataka tupapaku, or the funeral director, and normally in the house or in the marae, just depending. But so like you're normally, when you grow up in that kind of environment, you at a very young age you're exposed to seeing like dead bodies.
Yeah.
You know, and like I think I remember the first body that I saw. I remember when my nana passed away. I can't remember how old I was. She was very young though. I think I spoke about her in the first episode. Can't remember. She passed away very young. She was like 55. She passed away from just living a bad life, just smoking too much and stuff. Yeah, I did speak about it because I got the tattoo. Her nickname was Beetle. Anyways, so she passed away when I was really young, and just I think to draw comparison of like seeing her when she was alive in here, and just the soul, or like the essence in a person's eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just to have that completely gone, like, but you can feel it, you know, you feel the difference.
Yeah.
And I think if it made me feel like this is just a vessel, like this is just a body,
Yeah.
like that carried the person that I loved, you know, and knew.
Yeah.
But I felt no attachment to the actual physical body itself, if that makes sense.
No,
Weird, eh?
Yeah.
And so it was very normalized in our culture and just how I grew up, and 'cause we're just around it a lot, you know, and unfortunately our people can be pretty unhealthy, live some really unhealthy lifestyles, and You guys can look up the statistics because I'm not going to try and say that here. But off the top of my head, like we're some pretty unhealthy people, you know, and we pass away at really young ages, and just the drinking culture and the smoking culture and the drug culture, and I think low key like the stress as well
Yeah.
that comes with our people as well,
Yeah.
naturally. Whether that's inherited or whether that's kind of forced upon us just through socializing, just because of who we are and where we come from, you know. Now that we're living in like a combined world with multiple cultures, and being the minority in our own
Yeah.
whare, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
That's what heaps, yeah, bro.
Yeah, and so I think the stress is a lot, bro, and I'm starting to realize that a lot now that I'm a bit older, just how much of a toll stress can play on your body, bro, and on
Yeah.
your health, and it does a lot into your spirit as well. Like I started getting a lot of gray hairs on the side of my head from stress. I started getting like dark circles around my eyes from stress. Started like not sleeping good from stress, and that's like a slow death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. 100%.
Yeah. And so being normalized around seeing the tupapaku and all that. But then like I was afraid to die myself, and I've shared this before, like on my socials and to close friends, but I I had a really close talk with God, and it's something that I knew but just chose to ignore anyways. And it was, I asked him, I was like, why am I afraid to die? And he said, because I love this world too much. I was just so attached to like everything the world had to offer, you know. I think just the selfishness, and going back to the previous episode, like those quick dopamine hits from like lust and stuff like that, it was just so addictive to me, and it was like something that I didn't want to leave. And I think because I couldn't fathom after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that.
I just enjoyed it so much, and yeah. So it was a weird comparison, bro, like of just being completely numb to seeing like a person that's passed away in their body, and then having that fear of me passing away, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty conflicting, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy, bro. For me, my first time seeing a tupapaku, I think I was like maybe 7 or 8.
Mm.
No real like concept of what death was or anything like that. So the loss of, it was one of my koros. So the loss of one of my koros, it didn't really register. You know what I mean? That I
Yeah.
wouldn't see that person again.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, starting from there, and we do normalize it in our culture,
Mm.
having being around tupapaku as well. I went
Yeah.
to a Pākehā tangi the other month, bro.
Yeah.
And yeah, culture shock, eh? Because I'm used to, you know, you go to either to the marae or to someone's whare, and everyone's in there like sleeping with the body, and then they're kōrero all the time and stuff like that, and then you go to that and it seems so sterile. You know what
True.
I mean?
You're true.
Like, you know that people loved the person who passed away, but at the same time, I think it's beautiful in our culture that we like stay with the body after they've passed away.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think that soul lingers for a while, eh?
Yeah.
Until
100%,
we send
bro.
them off completely. So, yeah, I find that beautiful that we get to sit, laugh, tell stories, you know?
Yeah.
The way that our ancestors did. I think that's really beautiful. But yeah, my concept of death, thinking back to like my first brush with it, I never really registered how serious it was. It wasn't until my nana passed away, really,
Mm.
that I kind of got a grasp of it. And even then, I was still pretty young. So, yeah, it was difficult to understand at the time, eh?
Yeah.
That person that you had all that love for, and that you've shared heaps of memories with, that the reality of not seeing them again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh?
Yeah, it is crazy. We've had a lot of early like passings in our family, and all like just from like bad lifestyle choices, you know. And so it's always kind of put like a kind of like, if I'm to be completely honest, like a bitter taste in my mouth towards my whānau that are like choosing to live these healthy lifestyles, you know. It's hard for me to like sympathize or empathize with them after they've gone, because in my mind I'm like, you made a choice to live this way, you know?
Yeah.
And I always question in my mind to them, like, did you know any better? Like,
Yeah.
why did you choose to do that?
When you think about it, with like smoking and liquor and all that stuff, we're only quite young in receiving that into our culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think it was that whole time around Waitangi and all that stuff. Maybe like is that like 200 years there?
Mm.
So you know, I think our people are still acclimating to actually having those things, and then going back to all that stress.
Yeah.
You know, those are factors I think that play into it. But yeah, at the same time, yeah, those like long deaths, the inevitable ones that you can't, you know, that they know about but they can't really shake it.
It's so frustrating. And it feels really selfish on their part.
Yeah.
You know, that they're living this life. And I mean, it's easy to point the finger like that, you know? Like, I don't know what they're actually going through on their everyday life, but I think I feel this way out of wishing that, like, they could be around more, you know? Like, it's hard for me to accept that when I feel like there was more potential life on the table, you know? Like, there was more life to live. And for it to be kind of like shortcut, you know? Like, obviously it's all in God's hands, but like, me personally, yeah, I just, you know, wish that my whānau would make the right decisions to treat themselves better, because, like, yeah, it just seems like a selfish way to live. And then I get even more frustrated when they then point the fingers at me or like others and be like, oh, you should be da 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 da. It's like, well, take some accountability first, and then how about let's all go on this journey together, you know? Of health, of mental health and spiritual health and physical health. And it's something that I've been struggling with a lot lately myself. Like, I'm not living like, I don't smoke, or like, I don't even drink really, but I think the stress is weighing heavy on me, on my spirit and on my body at the moment. I think the overeating to cope with the stress is like,
Yeah, bro, I'm
yeah,
terrible for that.
I think that's weighing heavy on me now. I've also recently not quit basketball, but stopped doing it full time pretty much. And so that was a big purpose of my life for years, and having that kind of not stripped away because it was my choice, but I just felt called to not, you know, put that time into it anymore. I've just kind of felt lost with my training and like gym and stuff like that. And I've been training my whole life, you know, but yeah, so I can feel myself in the trenches of, I guess, how my whānau were during those times, you know.
Yeah.
And so this is quite interesting for me, because I'm having to navigate this myself for my whānau too, you know. And I'm not getting any younger. I'm starting to notice, you know, the body's not reacting how it used to react, or healing the way it used to heal. And so, but the good thing is that I'm aware of that, and now it's up to me to make a choice to you know, do better for myself, to then do better for my whānau, you know.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and yeah, so
What would you say was like your biggest experience of loss in your life, bro? Like, at what point did you really understand what that looks like?
I think the catalyst to that question for me was the loss of relationships first. Not necessarily people passing away, but me letting go of these people in my life. Whether it was friends, whether it was family. Something that I've like done quite a lot. My mom told me, like, and some pastors told me too, like, some people are just around for seasons, you know. And you know, and it naturally happens in life too, you know. I had a best mate who I was best mate with for years, man. Me and him were close as from like primary primary to like high school, I would say. Like, yeah. Maybe a quarter way through high school. Best friends, man. We just lived down the road from each other. He put up with me. He was the man. We were really, really close, but then just naturally grew apart, you know. to me that was a loss as well. You know, like
Yeah, bro. That's lost.
yeah, and like, cause I felt that, you know, I had this person in my life, and then now I don't, and a lot of the times my relationships, the loss of them was because of me, or I felt like it was because of me, and obviously I don't know like these other people, their lives and all that, and behind closed doors, I don't know, but I can only speak for myself, and I felt like a lot of the times it was because of me, and so that I mourned a lot
Yeah.
growing up. Like, yeah, I mourned a lot from just losing friends, or feeling ashamed of myself for being an idiot, and then losing friends, or like leading girls astray, and then losing that, knowing that I'm doing something wrong, and then that disappears, and then the reality and the guilt kicks in again, and then so I'm mourning that, and then I'm being an idiot to my family, and then but then I got these temptations that are pulling me, and then, you know, so I'm mourning the loss of, you know, my how close I am with my family, my mum and dad and stuff like that, and my brothers were never really we were never really close like that either, just because of the stuff that I was getting up to. I wanted to shelter my brothers a lot, and by sheltering I just meant distancing and just not having any kind of relationship with them, you know.
Yep.
And I consider that a loss too. Like, I mourn quite a lot for my brothers. They don't even know this, and I think just saying this, I'm starting to realize how much I actually mourned about it now. But yeah, like, I just didn't have these like really close relationships like that. Like, there was always something that happened, or something that got in the way, or God was like, it's time just to move on, or, you know. Yeah, so those are my earliest memories, bro, of loss. I think was just mourning relationships and that. Yeah. What about you?
I don't know, bro. Like but let me re-say that. So like for me, loss when I was younger, I didn't really register. It didn't really mean. Oh, it did mean much, but I didn't realize at the time what I was losing, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And even now, bro, I just there's a lot of regret that comes with that I didn't mourn those deaths properly. But I think the main catalyst for me and loss is probably like my cousin passed away, my first cousin, and he took his own life, bro. So just to give you guys like the whole story, I spoke about my cousins and I living in the same house growing up. He was one of those cousins that we spent time with like every day, go to school together, come home together.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we pretty much grew up together. He was pretty much one of my brothers. And then we were designing his invitations for his 21st. And then we had a drink afterwards because we were like, how old was he? It was a week before his 21st, so I would have been 19. Yeah, so we had a drink and then we stayed up drinking and all that stuff, and he was having like raru with his missus.
Yep.
So all of us were like, alright, give us your phone, bro. Took it off him, and then we just, you know, hung out, drank. And then I think it got to like 2 in the morning, and we were just finishing up, and then I was, usual thing, later, bro. I'll see you tomorrow. All that stuff, and then went inside and went to bed. And then, so that was around, like 2:30, and then by 6 a.m., it was gone, bro. And, my mum, I was still drunk, bro, so all I remember was I heard my mum scream, bro, and she had the most ugliest scream that I'd ever heard in my life. So I was like, like something's got to be up, and it must be him, because she like said his name after that, and then all of us woke up straight away. We thought he'd crashed there because he was drunk, and he shouldn't do this, but he drove home drunk. And I thought he'd crashed on the way or something like that, but yeah, it ended up that he took his own life, And it was really sad, bro, because it was a week out from his 21st. And yeah, like from there, I kind of learned. I didn't really learn how to deal with loss, bro, from there. So for years, bro, being the last one that saw him alive, I blamed myself for years, bro, like 10 years. And I just didn't have the tools at the time to deal with it. And that can weigh heavy on you, bro, especially at that age. I was 19. And yeah, it wasn't until I, like, late 20s that I really understood what it meant to mourn someone, bro. Because my thing was like my whānau, on both sides actually, we're like the workers at the marae, bro. So if someone passes away, we're in the back usually. So like I think our coping mechanism at first was to get all the mahi done for the tangi, instead of just sitting in those feelings and like acknowledging that he was gone, bro. Because that's something that I still, like, even today, I still can't believe he's gone, bro. And it's crazy to think that someone that you looked up to, you know, isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think grief is massive. Like, regardless of what happens in your life, like if you lose a friend or if someone actually passes away, I think that grief is the big thing that kind of binds us, you know. So what I learned from that is that you have to kind of sit in those feelings. You have to acknowledge all the mamai that comes with it, and then all the unanswered questions. Because I still have questions today about that stuff, but I think now that I'm a bit older, I know how to deal with those questions. And that guilt, was crazy for years, bro. Just blaming myself for it. Like, I'm thinking if I just said something to him, if I told him to stay, then maybe he'd be here today. But yeah, things like that you don't really have any control over,
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing that helped me recover from that after all those years, is that you can't blame yourself for things like that. The best thing you can do, I think, is to like acknowledge that they're gone, but also acknowledge like all the love that you had for those people, and you share that love by like telling people about them, the positive things that happened with them, other than them actually passing away. That's like a tradition in Māori tanga, bro. It's like kōrero about their lives and stuff like that, bro. But yeah, it was heavy as on me for years, bro. And I had no idea how to deal with that, being like still a kid myself.
Yeah.
And bro, I think it was like 2 months after that my boy was born.
Yeah.
So like, that compounded with it as well, because I was like, I can't sit around moping, because I got a kid that I'm responsible for now. So I have to like, you know, get up every day, go to work, do all that stuff. And I thought that was dealing with it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just getting on with life and not addressing those feelings. And that went on for ages, bro. I think until I was like, mid-20s. Then my auntie passed away, and then when that happened, all those feelings just flooded back, bro.
Yeah.
And I was a mess for a while, But yeah, I'm lucky that I have like support around me,
Yeah.
like whānau and stuff like that, because in those times I think it's important to reach out to the people around you,
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like if you have someone around you that does that commits suicide, it's kind of contagious for a while, So those thoughts fill everyone around that person's heads, you know, for a while. And that happened for me too. But yeah, I was lucky that I had support around me. Otherwise, would have been gone, I think.
I think it's such a shared story, you know, that so many of, especially like young Māori men our age, have had those thoughts at one point or another, you know. And it really saddens me how majority of them choose to act on it. Like, man, we've lost some amazing people, man. You know, and it's such a, like, it's something that I don't understand. It's something, I think, going back onto what you said, like even in our culture during like the tangi and stuff, it can be a blessing and a curse at the same time, because I think like having those roles at the marae or in the whare, like you can almost distract yourself from actually mourning this person's loss, you know.
Bro.
Because there's always something to do. And like I remember I used to ask my dad sometimes, like, how come the only time that we see our whānau is like during a tangi, you know? And it's happy as like I miss them, you know, like get to see my cousins and get to know them more, and like how come this is the only time we get to have proper time like this is during a tangi, you know? With the rarus and all, like with the problems or the issues, it's like that's just life. But like, I want this all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Why does it just have to be
I feel
during this moment? And like, not to say that we haven't reached out, or like the, you know, the whānau hasn't reached out, because we definitely try, and trying, but like, yeah, as I think it can be forms of distraction, same as like drinking, same as drugs, same
Yeah.
as, you know, all these other things, hanging out with the boys, or whatever hobby that you're like obsessed with, you know, all these things can serve as distractions as well. And I guess like, what does grief look like for young Māori men like us, you know? When you have someone who's like decided to end their own life, there's so many levels of just like questions, of doubt, of like fear, of like what could I have done better. There's a lot of like self-deprecating in that as well, you know.
heaps of shame in there too.
Heaps of shame in that too. Heaps of mamai too. Heaps of what ifs, you know.
Yeah.
One thing about anxiety and about fear is that fear is the unknown and anxiety is the unknown. It's the what if, you know, and that feeds, and because that what if can turn into so many other different things, you know. Like, what if your cousin didn't drive home and decided to, you know, like stay the night at your house, or, you know, would it be there, you know, for a bit longer? All those kind of things.
Yeah.
There's all those kind of questions, which are valid questions, you know, but those, because it's happened, those are questions that aren't going to be answered,
Yeah.
you know. And so I think it's like, okay, let's first acknowledge what happened, and let's sit in this pain for a little bit, and just acknowledge that for a bit, you know, and just be like, man, this sucks, really, really sucks. This hurts a lot. This is confusing as well.
Yeah.
This is making me question a lot of things, and I don't like this feeling at all. And then once you've gone through that process, I feel like a good next step should be, okay, let's work on the preventative side now for the people that's around me.
Yeah.
Let's start spreading the love to, you know, these people. Let's start listening to those gut feelings that you have within yourself about these people around you. Let's start checking in a bit more to the people that you feel called to check in on. And one thing that God's gifted me with, and that I with anyone with, if you just ask, to be honest, but is a word called discernment, and it's pretty much symbolizes that gut feeling. And it's like, sometimes God will put people on my heart just to speak, you know, life into, or to whatever, but I can't ignore it. Like, I have to go through it. And there was one that I ignored, and her name's Jaze, and she was a sister that decided to end her own life, and that was the one that I ignored, which is really heavy.
Yeah.
Really
'Cause
heavy.
For years you'll be like,
I can say this in hindsight, that she was the one that I ignored, because after that, I, you know, obviously was aware kind of, and it was just a lot. Like, with that came a lot of doubt and a lot of questions in my mind too. Like, we were just talking, I think, like maybe a few days before as well, and we weren't close like that, but we were close enough to have like pretty deep conversations. And she was on my heart a lot. She was always on my mind a lot, and she was one that I just didn't feel like messaging one day, you know, or just chose not to. Not to say that it was my fault. I don't want to put that blame on myself, and I obviously didn't know to the extent that the things that she was going through, you know. But I did have to take some accountability for myself, you know, and just like own what I'm allowed and what I'm supposed to own, and just let go of the things that were out of my control, you know, and not really seek closure that way. And yeah, I didn't want it just to be just a post like rest in peace and blah 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 blah. I really wanted to like do some self-reflecting, and but then after that was really, really hard for me. And like you were saying, bro, it's contagious.
it is, bro.
100%, bro. And I just started, like, I'm reflecting, I just started thinking of like life and just how hard it is sometimes, you
Yeah.
know.
100%.
And like, I always had this dream of heaven, and heaven being a place that, like, you know, is got none of the problems that I'm facing right now. And that was always a place that I would fantasize about when I was going through these tough times. But it got to the point, to be honest, where I was just like, how about I just leave here and just hope that I go there, you know?
Yeah.
And that was hard, bro. Like that was hard as. So I tried once. I don't want to say exactly what I done on camera, but I tried to harm myself. Got there, I had a little nick in the wrist area, and it freaked me out. Just a little. I stopped, and a little bit of blood was coming out. I ran to my auntie's house. We used to live on a long driveway, and my auntie was up the road. Mum and dad actually don't know about this, so I'm sorry if you listening to this. Sorry I didn't share with you what I was going through. But I ran up to my auntie's house, and she just put a plaster on it. I didn't really say what happened. I just said, "Oh, I got a cut. You're gonna go plaster." But for whatever reason, she was the safety that I was seeking at that time. And after that, it freaked me out. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, well, if I can't do this, then, like, how come life is so hard, you know? Like, how come I can't figure this out? Or how come I can't just have, like, a solid day for once, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
That's real heavy, bro. Yeah.
It's difficult, man. I was lucky when we all went through that because my dad pulled me and my brothers aside, and he was like, "I don't ever want to be here again. I don't ever want any of you boys to go through anything like this again. I love you. If you guys want to talk to me, or if you don't talk to me, talk to each other." So me and my brothers have been like tight as from that day. I think that something
Bro.
like that brought us together.
How powerful was that? The simple words of "I love you," eh?
That's crazy, eh?
It's massive, though, bro.
Yeah, that's something that I've like taken after feeling those losses. That's something that I like weave into everyday life, bro. So everyone that's important to me, I make sure that I tell them, like, if I love them, I tell them that I love them, bro.
Yeah.
Because you never know, that time might be your last, not just in suicide, but in any facet of life. You could be gone tomorrow. So it's important that if someone's important to you, that you let them know, you know?
And the why it's important is so heavy, bro. Like, it's so much more than just expressing your feelings towards someone.
Yeah.
It counts as validation. It counts as, like, an expression, but it's also letting them know, like, you as a person are valued
Yeah.
and wanted and needed
And cared for. Yeah, bro.
and appreciated. And these three little words, bro. I think a lot of those thoughts that I had back then, because, like, I spoke about it on a couple episodes ago, but when the anxiety was really taking a toll on me to the point where I thought it was about to end my life, that was the one thing that lacked in my life. Was all these other people loved me, but I didn't love me.
Yeah.
I didn't love
Yeah, that's a
myself.
big thing, bro.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate myself. I didn't want myself. I didn't need me here. Like, I didn't care about myself in that way to, like, take these steps that I'm supposed to be taking, you know? I think as it's important for us to say it to other people, it's also important for us to say it to ourselves, and
Man.
and to understand it ourselves. And I know on social media it can be a little bit oversaturated, like with the whole self-love stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I can't really speak on like all that kind of stuff. Some of it I don't believe in, but then also some of it I can't relate. But from my experience, like, honestly, what kept me here was God's love, and just, like, knowing who He is in my life, and just when I'm weak and just at my complete rock bottom, He's the only one that can lift me up time and time again. And I've experienced that on some pretty crazy levels that I'm not really ready to share yet, because they're pretty out there. But yeah, and I'm just experiencing that love, but then, like, and my wife's love for me, and my parents' love for me, and cause like I feel like maybe now I'm easier, but back then I was a hard person to love. Like, yeah, I was just confused, bro, and just like insecure, and just wanted to, please everyone, really,
Yeah.
but at the cost of everyone at the same time,
I feel like that's another thing that gets down to self-love as well, bro.
Yeah,
You know, that insecurity. Like, if you love
Yeah.
yourself, then
Yeah.
you know exactly what you're capable of and where you should
Yeah.
be. You know?
it's being okay to like say no sometimes.
Yeah, bro.
It's being okay to be like, oh, actually, no, I don't want to go there, or it's okay with like, yeah, like this is how I look. Like I can't really do anything right now. Like this is what it is.
This
you know?
is me.
Yeah.
What's and all, baby.
You know what? You know what really highlighted that for me was this social media stuff, bro. Like being in front of a camera, recording yourself doing stuff, kind of really like magnifies every insecurity that you
Yeah,
like,
it does, bro. 100%.
that you ever have. You know.
If you guys saw my story,
But yeah, straight up though, and like you can hide from it 'cause you can not do it, but like it's buzzy how confronting social media and like just being in front of a camera can
and
be.
how competitive it is as
yeah,
well.
Yeah,
And when you see all these people like doing these things and how they got there,
yeah.
you know, it makes you question yourself and your values sometimes, But
100%.
I don't think, I think that self-love
Yeah.
is the point where you can be like, nah, you know?
Yeah, and here's a gem for you guys too. Like comparison is a thief of all joy. We're gonna leave you guys with some closing words for such a heavy topic. Something that we kind of ended on as we were talking, but it's the word love. And I want you all to know out there that you are loved, that you are made with a beautiful purpose, that you are beautifully created as an individual. If you don't feel wanted or you feel like you're not needed, know that there's someone watching over you that maybe you can't see, that loves you and that needs you and that made you here and that put you here for a reason. You're cared for. We love you. We appreciate
100.
you. We're always open ears. Like the disclaimer said, we're not professionals. We're just a couple of bros, that like sharing our experiences. But like, how awesome is that we get to do this,
Yeah, 100%.
Don't be afraid to share with your friends. Don't be afraid to check on people, to check people as well. If you know that they're doing wrong, like if you really love them, show them that, and make sure your words are kind and that your heart is with the right intention. But if they're doing something that you know is not right for them, then let them know. And be ready to receive the same thing for yourself as well. Most importantly, love yourself. Know your worth. Accept your worth. Believe in your worth. Because you definitely are worth it 100%. Yeah.
You covered it pretty much, but I'm going to say it again. Love yourself. Love your friends. Love your whānau. Yeah, that's it. Love yourself, your friends, your whānau. Yeah. Love you guys. Sure.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, all those kind of things. The goal is just to get this channel to grow so we can hopefully encourage others as well. See you guys in the next one.
Be good to each other.
100%, but actually
good
be
to each
nice,
other.
man.
Yeah. It costs nothing to be nice
It
to
really
someone.
doesn't.
And you never know. If you're nice to someone, it could make their day.
It
You know,
could.
it could turn it around, bro.
It could.
Yeah.
Listen to that gut feeling, man.
Mm.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.